That doesn't have any actual information. on it.
And Penny, this is the agenda.
I got that.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
Okay, I will go.
Thank you
and-
very
Go to the
live.
no, go to the speaker button. And do that. This, yeah, you want to mute that.
Oh,
Okay, now you can go back to your Zoom one.
here's the Zoom.
And hit that,
This one?
the
blue
blue
one.
circle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness.
There you go.
There we go.
And you're going to click on that. There you go.
Thank you.
And I was gonna idea if people want to come in, I have a feeling about the people are going to come in.
All right.
Yes, you-
Okay,
Right now, we have no.
Now that everybody is gone, that was gonna come. I'm surprised. I thought she had it all set up for me. Okay. Are we good?
I think so. You could just maybe wait a moment in case anybody joins the
It
Zoom.
says it's recording here and it's live. Okay. You wanna do it quickly, Pat? I don't know.
Well, should we wait for someone to join the Zoom before we do that, or what?
I want to say our apologies. We
Oh, I
got it
did.
wrong. Both Candace and Marcia, so I think we should just say our apologies. You guys, we were on the wrong Zoom link. So it wasn't on YouTube, and we are apologizing for that.
Yeah, and hopefully this should be on YouTube now, and it's the correct Zoom link. And we will now recap briefly what we already did. We made one adjustment to the agenda to clarify that we were only including the one set of meeting minutes,
We need to.
and to add a discussion, ambassador gatherings at the end of the meeting if there's time. We reviewed the minutes of our most recent meeting in February. We approved those. There was a nominating committee update from Sandy. The next nominating committee meeting is at the end of this month.
Yes, March 27th.
And we then began to discuss the document that I have here, which is just an outline of a longer document that will describe our progress towards the design of the new library and community center.
is it a description of our progress, or is it the document that will be eventually handed to, out for bid,
Not out for bid.
Hmm.
I don't think this document will be adequate towards a bid.
Okay,
Because that's, full set of architectural drawing. But this is a document that we will be handing out to share with the community and the board of directors,
and it should be included in the package.
and will be included in the packet. And also potentially to potential donors to describe what we're,
Yes.
so we're doing, what we're going for. So it's like a holding place for all of the key information that we want people to know about the project.
Okay.
Short of a detailed design,
But it will be cost data associated with it.
rough, very rough. But you jumped ahead, that's the last of your section.
I was just asking.
Yeah. Anyway, so we discussed that there would be a cover page, a brief project mission statement, summarizing the neighborhood. That's Penny, I'm sure. I think so.
Yeah, that's been.
Okay.
All right, so we discussed, that there would be a cover page. Project mission statement, which is a brief summary of the project's goals. A list of building data, so the list of rooms with their sizes and descriptions and the total building square footage. Which is not clearly indicated on there.
The size is, the square footage. right?
Yeah, well, we're not gonna make people add it up. And then, diagrams showing potential organization of rooms and explanatory text capturing anything that's not specifically delineated in the list. Such as the notion of emergency shelter, accommodation for electric vehicle charging, things like that. And we also discussed that any proposed outdoor functions, number of parking spots, et cetera, should be added to the list of rooms in a numerical sense. So that's captured. And that's where we left off. I think after the data, that's the sort of hard information. I would propose that we discuss in this document more of the vision, the design vision, and that's the less hard, more aspirational, how we want it to feel, how we want it to look. And that's gonna be collecting images that we've gathered and agreed on as a group. As well as, some language, describing our priorities. And the priorities that we have so far, sort of welcoming area, natural light, flexibility has been a huge one, durability, ease and maintenance. And we'll have to, the committee will vote on or agree on that, what that should say. Probably by reviewing draft text that I will produce based on all of my notes from the previous design discussion. And then just a little bit of a breakdown by exterior images and text, interior images and text, because we have a good repository of images now of both of those things that people have shared. The fifth, so after the design vision, I think to have a very clear and organized and rigorous discussion of energy efficiency and building performance. So no longer just saying like, this is a green building, but saying like, here's what we believe a green building is. I have a lot of information on that I can share, that I will share with the committee, and we can discuss what we want to make the standards that we put in the packet. That's, I think, a good activity for next meeting, actually, so we can talk about that later. But that's just basically some, some attitude, some number, some standard for each of those categories that are listed, plus a discussion of, what is our aspiration for renewable energy in the site. And then after all that, a little section about budget.
Well, this $500,000.
So we'll have that, based on just a general cost per square foot. And we can do, essentially what we have a cost per square foot. We have estimates for what we call soft costs being design fees, engineering fees, permit fees, any kind of services associated with the building, and then additional for furniture, anything that's, furniture, equipment, anything that's not built in, and also landscaping site work. So that'd be a more holistic description of the total project cost, not just the construction cost. And again, I have templates and things for that kind of spreadsheet and basic assumptions for square foot cost for furniture and things like that that I can provide. And obviously we workshop it in the meeting before we put it in the packet and distribute it. I think that, to me, represents a clear, I would call this like a holistic building program.
I think it answers all the questions that people may have, that what can you do, what can we do with the building, you know, and, so,
Yeah, exactly. And I think it'll be a couple of rounds of revision, on the whole thing, make sure we're not missing something. Obviously, please take this outline home and think about it, and if you come up with, oh my God, I think we got category X or Y, like this, we'll just add it. Or if you actually already know that, please say.
Equipment, well,
Go ahead.
equipment, that would be the kitchen. And you already have air handling, but there's gotta be
Yeah, so I have it under all.
kitchen equipment, there's gotta be dollies for moving things, two-wheelers.
That's what we
part
call
of the
F,
software.
F and E. Or furniture, fixtures and equipment, which is a separate line item in the budget from,
Because the other thing is,
kitchen equipment and appliances, we can add either in some way or another, but yeah, we can go ahead and delineate that.
the other thing would be anything that can be recycled out of the old building. Like, I'm looking at down at the kitchen, there's kitchen equipment down there, I have no idea if it's
Yeah.
the usefulness or not. But
Yeah.
there should be, that's the only place I see these.
I mean, there's the AV equipment that has been bought, you know, that all that can be reused, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know that this budget is gonna be that detailed,
Yeah,
but I think we should mention the idea that we should maximize what can be reused. That's a good point.
reuse, repurpose.
So in your lines of equipment, what were you, like, what did it include?
There is no line item.
Oh,
I'm discussing what it is.
I can- I'm just writing what they added.
Yeah,
Different
exactly.
fees and different.
Yeah, no, so there is a line item in the budget, right now, one line item, but it could be broken down.
It could have
It could have
bullet points
bullet
underneath
points
it.
underneath that
That-
say, and what it is kitchen, it is exactly what you said, kitchen equipment, AV, furniture, and, any other specialty equipment that's required, like makerspace gear, or tools, whatever, all that stuff.
And I have a question on, you have under number 4, design vision, you have overall, and then inside you have word cloud.
Yeah, I was just wondering about like what the best way to,
Would aesthetics probably make a better term, overall, and then aesthetics with a dash?
Well, the word cloud is the exercise where,
question-
you know,
yeah, the
how many
question-
times that word was mentioned, we
Yeah,
all had
so
to do
that-
the homework.
Well,
that
to
was a
me,
less.
that doesn't, it didn't comprehend me at all.
Yeah.
Which word, which one?
Word cloud.
So that was, yeah, so that was
Are we gonna see a word cloud up here?
That was the question. Should we see a word cloud? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't. That's why I put it in.
Are you gonna
parentheses.
show us anything?
No, there's no word cloud. We don't.
No,
have-
not a word cloud, but just any part of this, are we gonna see any of this? I didn't know.
Not right now.
Oh,
We're gonna decide what's in it and then we're gonna review it. Once it's done. Or not done, but in better product. I have made a cover page, but, I don't feel totally confident that I got it there.
yeah.
But I can pitch for it. But that's all I've made so far, the cover page.
So, but do you have all everybody's, you said, turned in their homework?
Yeah, no, I think we should review those.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
that means everybody's just gonna we're gonna read the statements aloud.
I don't have it with me. so-
Okay, well, I'll read.
Yeah, all right, look, I love to.
I would like to hear
I'd like
everybody.
to hear
Yeah,
that.
no, we can definitely do that, but I think
Do
we.
you
I mean, you don't have to say who said what, that's why it would be better if you read them.
We have to speak up a little bit. Or I have to sit on the other side of
But
you.
did you put all the pictures on a slideshow so that they can
We
be?
could look at them, yeah, I have,
But
I
that's
have
what
them
I
all
was
full.
looking at too.
Yeah, that was also, that's actually next in our agenda. Are we done discussing this outline, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I mean, it's already pretty detailed, and I know that we can edit it as we go, so, you know.
Okay, good.
Yeah, no, I think the outline is great. I mean, really, it's everything that we've been talking about.
Great.
I like the organization, so, you know.
Yeah, it's clearer than actually.
Right, and it's also now we can say, what is the list of rooms, you know, what are we?
Yeah, we
talking
can feel it.
So, I mean, it's just a compilation of what we've been doing, so that's what's great.
What I'm gonna do is join the Zoom meeting and share my screen. So that I can bring things up on the TV. for images.
You can do that if you're not on that machine?
Yeah, I think it's to let people do it from that machine, but yeah. But I believe it's can be done. I think we're gonna take a second to join the room. Which, from Terry call it agenda it is.
Kind of excited.
I see it.
What came up with.
I'm gonna have to go with it myself. Not allow myself to do this.
Ah, yeah. Oh, boy, it's done that before.
Dave, right?
Yeah, it's Gabe, he's a meeting himself, and
Right.
then we're gonna share his.
Right. That's, oh, yep. Let's see.
Nice to check a couple things here.
Yes. Does the administrator have to
I'm
allow that?
the administrator
Okay.
because I am.
Okay, there you are.
I'm not.
He's trying to connect.
Okay. Now I'm going to screen. Right. Pull up the right document before we do that.
From all. I forgot my tea, I need some tea.
Yeah.
So let's start.
Ah, there, progress.
There we go. So we'll just start. So this is, I mean, these have names on them, so that's just people are on the spot. Sorry about that. But this is what Candace shared. She and I'll read her statement out loud. She wrote, "When first entering the community building, a sense of neutrality and trust puts one at ease immediately. This is accomplished by having lots of natural light, shelves easy to reach, seating for collaboration and for independent work, distinct zones for varied uses, and technology accessible and visible to patrons and staff." So that's about welcoming people and putting them at ease and how the design of the building.
Yeah,
can
and
do that.
natural light is there.
Yeah. And she shared a photo, she shared two photos, one of the front of the building, which if I'm not totally mistaken, might be the same building that you shared a picture of.
I know that, well.
We'll see that in a moment. And then the back of the building, which is a portrait of a smiling person, but there's a building in the background. I think, I mean, the features that we see here is that this is like a generally somewhat traditional looking thing. So I would say,
So what I
Yeah.
like, I mean, there is obviously a glass entrance where you can see that there is light inside and the lights are on. Also, what's nice is actually the porch area where if somebody's unloaded, you can walk, if it rains or snow, there is still some protection. You're not just outside right away. So
Or
that's,
yeah, it can be a seating area in the spring or. fall.
yeah,
entry, glass entry. Yeah, I agree. Those are both nice features. Fairly generous.
But it is a pretty traditional structure.
You see, I like the right-hand side, you can see their floor-to-ceiling
Yeah,
windows.
yeah.
You know, the smaller windows on the other end, you know, we don't, you know, that's totally fine, but as long
It's a
as.
blend, yeah, it's a blend of
Yeah.
traditional and that.
So, you know, I like that it's not symmetric and, you know, there is a variety to it, so.
And
Curious
then
about
back,
that
we have
cupola.
a mystery of simply, and you see the cupola there.
So there is
Again,
an
a
upper
big
floor
window.
there.
There's probably an upper floor. Or it's just very tall.
Well,
You
it
can
looks
see, I
like it
mean,
could be an office building. you know,
The second floor here is at the mechanical equipment, and the second floor of that one.
Mhm.
But, yeah, it's at least got an attic with
And
mechanical
the
equipment.
role of the cupola is essentially to bring in natural light.
Yeah, that's what the cupola is doing, because the floor plan on this building is fairly deep. Like it's kind of, it looks like it's a pretty big, like a square building, so
Yeah.
getting light into the center is a little hard. Okay, I will. So, next one. We have. This is Kath, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Candace got called out, so everybody has to be mentioned by name.
This is Kathy, this is yours.
Kath,
Yeah,
I think
you know,
we'll go with
I,
this.
you know, this was shingles, traditional material, but at the same time, something quirky.
Yeah.
And waves are definitely, you know, relatable with the area, so.
So I'm going to read this statement.
Mhm.
The structure should be inviting and welcoming to all. People will experience joy and pride as they enter a modern, well-appointed, and energy-efficient building created to provide them with a comfortable space to socialize, laugh, learn, and play while being mindful of the environment and tax dollars. I assume that's a reference to ongoing operational costs and saved by energy efficiency.
Yes,
That is the plug. The building will be attractive, becoming a sort of magnet for people to hang out, interact, and strengthen the social fabric of the town. So I think that's, that's got some similar themes to Candace's move sort of welcoming, but we've added the idea of energy efficiency in this one. And
low operating costs.
low operating cost. And also the idea that not only is it welcoming, but it's actually attracting people. I think I like that. I think that's a good point to say that a welcoming building is not just like sitting there. It's actually sort of like an active part of the community that people will potentially begin to gravitate towards.
I think it's important to have like a wow factor. If people drive by that, you know,
You want
they
to go
have
there.
to check it out.
Yeah,
They
you
want
want
to
to
come
go
here. Yeah.
That's great. I mean, that's how I ended up at several
Yeah.
libraries. What's the? Let me see.
All right, so then we can talk about the images. You have the wavy shingles in situ.
So here's the one. So I didn't bring pictures of libraries, but I wanted to show pictures of outside, you know, like looks that we might want to think about.
Yeah, so the shingles are sort of traditional material.
Yeah.
Wavy shingles are a new take on a traditional material. And then you have something about a mix of materials on the exterior of the building. Sort of delineating the different volumes. Breaking up the sort of masses.
Yeah.
Granite being.
Yeah.
And here's glass coming up. I can see.
Yeah,
well,
this
this
was
is-
the residence, I think, you know.
That's a residence, and this is
And then, you know,
building on a different scale.
but I like the idea of the fresco and, you know,
Yeah, I like that too. I've always liked that painting.
it doesn't.
Is that the
That's,
technology?
it's
Yeah.
cool, yeah.
Catherine Cartwright did
You know,
that.
so obviously this is a gigantic building, but we could have something, you know, at a smaller scale, but again, you know, and it could be, I mean, I looked at, you know, we can open it for submission and like, you know, art from local area, right? And representing something that we cherish around here. I don't.
Well, she's local, you know, she lives down in Port Clyde, Catherine Cartwright. Or maybe she lives in, Clark Island.
Clark Island, yeah, I think I went to, sure.
One more file, I'm gonna share it. Quickly. And some folks have images in the- Oh, oops. Meantime.
I have, a good friend who is, community artist, and she's been doing murals with various groups. All the murals in Rockland, and by her would be the school kids or professional muralists, so.
Outside murals.
Like the one by the, coffee, yeah, down,
Yeah.
Fort Cat, those are nice, yeah.
Those girls, yeah, those came out well.
Yeah.
They really liven up that
Fun.
area.
Yes,
And she did the mural that was in, KIO,
Mhm.
so that she did that one.
yes, that was nice.
So sometimes she's combining it with high school students, sometimes she's working with just adults.
All right, so Marcia didn't send me any images, but I will read her statement. She wrote, "The library community center building means many different things to many different people. For some, it is a place to share a cup of coffee, a bowl of soup, and a place to share meaning, loneliness, happiness, fears, and hope. For the more active, it is a place to do yoga, ballet, join a book club, share knitting, hold meetings, and once again, hopes for the future. For the youth, it is a place to listen to a story, play ping pong, be in a safe environment, and share dreams and hope. For everyone, it is a place of stimulating thought. Through books, they are stimulated to thoughts of different worlds and exploration outside of South Thomaston. The building reflects the lives, hopes, and dreams of our local and the wider world." So that's about the building sort of as a social place that also as a library contains like knowledge that can
It's
offer a
yeah,
window.
used for growth,
Yeah.
or, you know.
It's meeting place.
For all ages. Also kind of a vision statement of what, how we interact with one another and how we learn, so it's.
A lot of use of the word share, which is nice.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
really building a social connection.
Togetherness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And then Moira, I'll read your statement also. A high-performing building. Energy efficient design and performance with proper balance of aesthetics, accessibility, and cost effectiveness, connecting a diverse population, small children, students, professionals, and the elderly to meet, discover, learn, and serve in community engagement. So that's very concisely bringing things, saying something similar to what Marcia said about
Saying everything.
really putting a cost-effective way to connect all the people of different backgrounds, different ages in the town, and foster engagement in the community and a sense of community, in a sort of energy efficient package. I think that, yeah, and then I think I have to read yours too.
Yours. We're the twins over here, we need to stay together. Little twins.
There was like a very, very funny moment when the Zoom opened and it was just YouTube.
You did this, you did it too, and I still didn't get the memo.
And then, so I'll finish reading the statements. And, well, your statement's long, Sandy.
I'm sorry,
I'm surprised.
But I will read it and then we can look at it. Sandy writes, I read them all. I advocate for a library space where education and learning is key, where one feels at home among books, conversation about books, and the usage of books for research. An individual's education and children's appreciation of books is a prime goal. The children's room will reflect the idea that children learn and communicate through doing, building, playing, and imaginative play. The rest of the building, but not separate from the library, is community centered. A large community space with kitchen, capacity for town meetings, and technology for presentations would on a day-to-day basis be partitioned for exercise classes, yoga, community lunches, meeting and making spaces. The feeling here is a community-centered approach that encourages gathering and socializing for all ages. Art making, music, potluck dinners, and movies could all happen here. Flexibility is key. The entire building should feel light and airy, with some areas with higher ceilings to create a spacious feeling, yet still highly functional, well-planned, and easily managed, heated or cooled and maintained. Flexible furniture and library stacks, open and closed spaces to facilitate meeting together. The exterior look needs to fit the center of town. A New England front with a more contemporary roof line and windows. The outside space gives us an opportunity to create additional community gathering areas, like a patio, gardens and trees, summer activity space for all ages, and social events. Then you have the bulleted list. Key goals for the library and community center building: to create a building for gathering, feel like one is at home among books, friends, neighbors, and events. To honor the expressed desire for a town meeting space, which could also be used for social events, and yet on a day-to-day basis will be used for many small group activities. To create a 21st century building with all the necessary technology uses and energy savings as budget permits. I think that's in longer form.
It was supposed to be one sentence. I didn't get that memo, but I had 2
I said
pages.
1 paragraph. This is 5 paragraphs. You had 1 sentence.
You know, at the end, you said one sentence, so I told you guys, I went one here.
You had 1
I
paragraph.
didn't
You
hear
had 1 sentence. Marcia had 1 paragraph.
2 pages, it's down to
This is,
like
no, this is
3/4
great.
page.
It's, the thing that I think is striking is that everybody basically agrees.
It's all the same information.
And
That's
so
everybody.
I think we've got, and I apologize, I did not write a statement, I wrote this outline instead, but I would have written a very simple statement.
Okay, you asked for a short thesis statement. What are we capturing in the building? You did the right thing.
No, I
I'm
don't,
just saying.
well, I said, I was pleased with your brevity.
Yeah.
But I think that I mean, obviously the real goal of the assignment was just to get everybody to write something,
Yeah,
and they did. So I think we're happy, and it all lines up really well. So I think there's a lot of really good concepts and a lot of really good language in all of them, particularly around like how the building can help bring the community together, how it's like technological aspects create a like durable and affordable and lasting solution for that essentially social mission. So I think that's great, and then we should look at the images that Sandy and Laura sent, which I will share.
I didn't have that many images. I kind of like blending some area that was inside, outside, like the porch kind of concept, you know, that was.
Got a porch there. Let's see. Bigger porch.
Oh, that's true. The building. is
But this would be the back of the building because it's hard to arrive there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's the back.
Yeah.
Or the side.
This was the side of the building that I was looking at, but, yeah, I think we're happy. But I don't even like that it's off the ground. I would like to kind of go
Yeah.
out right out to the patio. And
Yeah,
have a place.
that's
you know,
better
have a
for
place to sit.
accessibility too. But so outdoor, indoor space, that's good. Here we're zooming in. This is the Vermont building again, but this is like a nice little collaborative space located inside the larger library stacks with a little lit reading area and some interest to the.
See, my
ceiling.
problem with this room is like if somebody wants to do research, they are in the middle of the action here.
Well, there are some other places,
Yeah.
there are quiet spaces that you
There's
can
quiet.
find, and,
But I take your point, you know, I think being cognizant of that. What is that table doing, you know, I guess that's.
And it's like if you want to have a meeting, you're still going to disturb the people who want to read while they're in the other
Right.
corner.
but that's not out, we talked about having other rooms off the
Yeah.
side, so I think you're looking too inward on that one, but going back to research, same thing, we were gonna have off rooms that could be done that way. I look at this, that, and I would be interested to see how many people actually do research, but this is a welcoming space.
Oh, yeah, I agree, it's
And,
beautiful, I
but,
like the
and
light.
I think looking at this, if someone's gonna research, I wonder if there's anyone who's actually gonna do that. They would probably go someplace else.
Well, there was another room which had other stacks.
But we're gonna have, yeah, but my idea is we're having other rooms that would be available. right,
Yeah.
Off the sides.
Yeah, like the meeting space. We had the children's room here, and that was the children's.
Yeah, that was cute.
I think these are into.
Did I send that?
Yes, you did. This is the same building, I believe, that
Yeah.
Candace sent, because we see the people.
It was in Warwick, New York. when that-
Yes, it's the Albert Wisner Public Library.
Yeah.
I have a picture of it too. Yeah.
Popular building.
Yeah.
Well, it got great, all
Yeah.
kinds of awards.
Yeah, I did get
Yeah.
awards.
And it was done by a group, and the town got together and then did a bond, and it was a $10 million library.
And
Wow.
you did more research than I. I was trying to find
The
out.
budget doesn't surprise me looking at the pictures.
Mm.
And
Well,
it's
the back-
Warwick, New York. It's
How many
quite-
square feet was that?
I cannot tell you.
It's
what it was.
bigger than the library they were.
Yeah.
By a decent amount.
That's not up on
That's
the,
what
yeah. The back, that back image was interesting, talking about glass, you know. Floor to ceiling.
But the one that's local that you, is a good library that we have, is in Falmouth.
Yeah, I have a picture, I have your picture of that one. I like that one.
Where is it?
Falmouth.
Oh, yeah, that was.
Do you know how old that building is? Yes. So do they have that?
It was done in, I think it was completed in 2005.
Five, so do they have like
There, that's-
geothermal?
that's
Because
the
of that price, you would think.
There's a,
This building doesn't look like an energy efficient building to me.
like an efficient building.
Yeah.
Energy efficient.
Energy efficient, yeah. But you know, the front looks really traditional, but the back has all that.
Yeah, it's not.
There's that space.
What's interesting here is like it looks, you know, kind of the setup of Gifford Butler.
Well, I think that's why I took this, I took this picture off the internet because of that slope. I was thinking, oh, well.
Yeah, it is similar. I mean, you can see that they have an entrance to the lower floor on the face that's facing us behind the bush. And it's just, and there's a retaining wall that goes down. For
And that Warwick Library got the best small library award in 2016. I can't tell you square footage.
But that's not the same building that Candy showed.
This is,
Okay, so still another angle here?
we've got three angles.
So,
Yeah.
or-
Got that.
Yeah.
You see the
We've
people
got
are there.
people there. So this, I would
That's the,
wager is on this side,
is what?
probably over here. Like if you look, so you can't see that. It's
Yeah.
over,
That's the.
to our right.
Yeah,
We go
Okay.
down. We go down and we end up here.
yeah, okay, oh, yeah,
All the way around.
that makes sense, yeah.
You come up there.
And then the other one,
So it's definitely 2 stories.
Yes.
even three, possibly.
It might be three,
It might
yeah.
be 3.
So I would say small is relative. And then quickly, I'll share a few minutes that Moira sent. So this is the, this is one
That was the earlier. That
Yeah,
wasn't one I
I'm
said.
wrong. folder.
Yeah.
I have.
That one was the first on
Oh,
the
yeah,
side.
yeah, here we go. I got it. I got the new ones. Okay, here we go.
Mm,
This, is this the Falmouth building?
This was the fountain. Mm-hmm.
This is the Falmouth building. This is relatively new. This won awards. This is done by an architecture firm, Portland, Simons Architects, I believe. So you see there's an older building there.
And then the.
This is the new
This is the
addition.
new addition, the other is the older.
That's the older building. So this is like a more modern take on this, on New England building, but
Mhm.
still has the clapboards in it, has a gabled roof. So it's like,
It fits
it's
in.
playing the game.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit more of a contemporary take.
And it's contemporary on the back end.
Yeah. Is that the interior of that same
Mhm.
building? Because again, that's a little bit more modern, but airy.
It was stacked out on wheels, some of them, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that thing.
that's a committee field trip.
I was gonna stop by yesterday, but our appointment took us too long and I had to get to a meeting at 4:30. Cause I wanted to walk.
And yes,
around.
that's a good point, Catherine. Those stacks are on wheels.
No, not all of them, like
But just,
the wall, but the
But the
middle
ones out
one.
in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good point. Thank you. This is all the same building.
I can't say it is or not. My memory is not gonna say
This
yes.
is a fairly modern library interior.
I don't think that one's the same.
Carpeted floor, glass conference room, next to some stacks.
And this one isn't, but the reason I took that picture when I was doing my research is we talked about glass. But we could do research in there when there's other people making noise on the other part, but you can still be seeing the light from the windows coming in.
Yeah.
Or if someone's having a meeting.
And for this, I had reported from the Rockport Library, which I visited and took time to talk to the librarian, you know, what he liked and didn't like. And one of the things he didn't like were the glass windows, the glass walls. He
Mhm.
said, you know, it's nice to have the light, but it's huge wall space that's not usable. So, you know, can you combine the two? Maybe have an upper glass section and still keep, you know, a solid section to
You could
have.
have pony walls.
Yeah, you can have a shorter wall.
Yeah.
Right, you know, that's there. Building. There you go.
Oh, there it is, 2016.
That's
Small library.
Wonder how small it is.
It doesn't feel small at all.
No, it's not small based on what we're talking about. But it's,
I think the population, and I looked this up, I think population of Warwick, New York is like 16,000 or something.
I don't know.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah, because I'm sort of comparing size to the size of the town.
That's the same library. different-
Well, that's huge. come on.
yeah, so now actually all the images put together. So
Oh,
this
that,
is the facade, we see that this is facing the facade that Candace showed.
yeah,
The entrance that everybody showed is on our right,
Yeah,
the slope is on our left,
wow.
and behind us is the glass wall.
yeah.
And behind, like straight through the screen is our glass wall. So now we finally know what this building looks like. We saw the one missing angle.
Yeah, yeah. No, I
Um,
know, it's quite large.
It's quite large, but that's, there it is. This is,
This was when I was first looking at where I knew people would want a traditional building, it's not my first choice, I prefer more modern. But it wasn't bad looking and the interior wasn't bad looking and it's not super big. So that's why I originally did that.
It looks dark to me.
yeah.
But it wasn't
Yeah.
something I'm gonna rave about, but it's just, it was part of the exercise.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's good to share that, even if it's not something that you prefer, because it's something to talk about. I tend to agree. I think this sort of like, well, I guess
It's
it's
boring.
it doesn't quite land
Mm-mm.
in terms of feeling like it belongs in the.
Right.
This is a.
And I
energetic-
love this, I like kids' rooms, but I want them to be fun, whimsical.
That's a little, again,
I
the
know,
big
it's too
side,
big,
but-
but
But yeah, no, I think it's a good point. There's, there's some interactivity, there's some interest in the ceiling, there's some color.
Yeah, I think all those elements are really interesting. You can do a small
smaller
room with, you know, all that kind of interest going on. You don't need 5 tables, you need 2 tables.
Right,
Yeah.
but there's so many options. This is an image of a building I just think is lovely. I don't know where it is, but as I was doing stuff, I
Looks like
like,
a library.
it is a library, but
It might not be in the United States of America.
it is.
It is?
It's in the college. But I'm thinking it was in the middle states, but I just like the look of it.
Mhm.
And I like that it had all these windows and it wasn't too radical.
Did you check the website from, Studio Gang?
I did look, yeah.
Did you find pictures? They took out all their pictures.
I
Because they have a
found-
building like that.
Yeah,
And it was phenomenal because, it was on a campus, but it's like one of
we
those,
can look, we'll pull it up in a second.
one of those faces looked toward the town, then another one looked toward nature, and you had a lot of glass as well, but you have so many functions in the building. It was really well thought out.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's sometimes nice to look at architects' websites because they'll describe the images and the plans and look at them next to each other, but. I mean, I agree. I think that this, I don't wanna like. Be a downer, but this particular look might be a hard sell. I like it too. I mean, that's the sort of thing that I like, but I think it's,
Going into a really modern house, it's very clean and it's
Yeah,
like,
but
where do I sit? You know, I mean, it's hard.
we don't
to-
need the whole thing of glass,
I
but
know.
like having one large section at
yeah, no, I
least,
think
you
that's a
know.
good point.
That's
And
what the
there's a
other
lot
library
of nice elements here. Like there's an entrance canopy. That works. There's a sort of like blend of materials. This is like a stone facade with a little bit of metal and a bit of glass. There's an idea about lighting on the site. That's interesting. I think I mean, even if the thing that we're gonna ultimately propose doesn't look exactly like this, I think there are plenty of elements that are working. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
lots of nice light, for sure,
Yeah.
coming in, especially in the library area. It looks like that would be a really nice place to sit and study.
This one, I don't want the fireplace, but I liked the, just the more traditional type room. If people didn't like too modern and,
I think it might be cheaper to go with that kind of.
This is not cheap.
no,
But-
it is not, but I'm not saying have a fireplace, because I don't think
Yeah.
you need a fireplace, but. I like the tall ceilings, I like part of it was traditional and part was more modern.
Yeah.
And the
looks pretty.
furniture, it can be moved around so you can make your own little space.
I mean, okay, I like the height, but not too high, like, isn't that a lot of wasted space and then to heat up doesn't, isn't that
Yeah, you have to keep
inefficient?
it reasonable, but I think that, I mean, and this might be like a little bit too tall, but. I think the idea is there, like you see this is going up, there's a dormer here or something, and there's a gable that starts to
I mean,
happen, so you have a cathedral ceiling in there. But yeah, I think that there's,
I mean, I'm
once
only
it gets to
like
the
two.
point of actually designing things, like then you get to the discussion about the right height.
Yeah.
and you go to different
But
rooms
it's
and you
just,
see
you're
it.
bringing different elements.
Yeah,
So I think that,
and again, the bright colors inside,
yeah, that's what I like about this one is the contrast between the furniture and the sort of more subdued setting, like with a nice wooden shell. And the pop
And
of
then the
color.
different colors in the rug, which
Yeah.
they've gone with squares, so
yeah.
if you spill, you just pull out the square and replace it. You don't have to do the whole
Yeah,
thing.
that's
And
definitely.
wash
the way to go.
it too.
Yeah, but, that doesn't mean that you advocate for carpet. I'm just saying the
Yeah.
contrast make it really a nice looking room. And then this
Children's
was-
seating.
Where it's a little bit using your window and having space, but having color. I really like the element, the abstract here.
Mhm.
Very exciting colors.
Yes, I like colors. And then
That's beautiful, my color, very
The library.
this is a library in Vermont. And I like the outside, I didn't like the inside, so I like to leave the picture.
Where is this?
In Shelburne?
Oh, no, that's very near where my daughter lives.
Well, you have a
That
filter.
reminds me of the picture I showed with
Yes,
the various
very similar.
materials.
Yeah, I like the different materials and I liked it, but I didn't like inside, so.
Yeah,
And as I told Gabe, I like to build from inside and then we'll get to the outside. I don't like picking outside.
So that, yeah, I agree, that's interesting.
Yeah,
It's
that's
sort of in
cool.
a town, you can see it's also, this is attached to.
It was, has an older part, but they,
Yeah.
a brick building, that was the old building, and then they added this. And then this one was in New Hampshire, that was very traditional, kind of reminded me of the New York one.
yeah, I think, I wonder if there is a template for the
Yeah.
building.
Yeah.
Gables and the
I hate to
cupola.
say it, but I think they might,
Yeah, and that's what it, because I found this one first, then I found the New York one, but I wasn't gonna get rid of my pictures, so you got it.
yeah, no, it's good, it was good to see all of them. This one, I would say the windows are looking a little small to me.
They're
Yeah.
way, I felt that this was boring.
Yeah. We could do better. And this is the Falmouth Library. again. And so you see like a
That's the
couple of
one,
different.
that's in beauty.
It is, I really,
I
after,
wanna go see that.
Yeah, this
I mean,
one, yeah,
when
next time.
I
you're
say
there.
I wanna go, you know, that makes it really interesting.
yeah, I just ran out of time yesterday.
Yeah, yeah, it was just-
I had
Yeah,
the
well, I think
dummy.
it would be a good one to see, because I think that the interior, I mean, of course, Falmouth. Higher budget,
Yes,
the, also bigger size, and I think that the way that the interior of this building was finished didn't look like extravagantly pricey.
mhm,
It looked like, somebody was paying attention to the budget and trying to make nice spaces without spending a huge amount of money. So I think that that's something to take through
And that-
if people were to visit this, like I would say, like, look at that and think about like, how the space is really the star of the show, and it's not so much about the material in that case. But on the exterior, they're also doing the same thing. This is like a very inexpensive, like a fiber cement quadra or something, and they're just doing targeted areas
was-
of like a nice wood finish that's got high impact. So that's, I think I would say that this design, to me, it looks good, but it also is just from what I can see, like pretty budget conscious also in terms of picking your moments to spend money.
Yeah, we should find out more how many square feet this is and what that budget was.
I think, yeah, a lot and fairly high, but we can
Yeah.
find it out. I think-
Yeah, I didn't find that out when I was, it took me a long time to find all these.
Yeah,
no,
I know, I was on it for quite a long time.
But when I found this one, I was glad because it was close by and I've been meaning to get down there just so I could scope it out.
Yeah, the next time down in
Yeah, I'd like to go, where is Falmouth? I don't know.
Right before Portland,
it's north of Portland.
Oh, yeah,
somewhere.
because you got Falmouth, then you got Cumberland, and then you got
Yeah.
Portland.
Definitely next month.
About 9 miles out of Portland.
Okay,
We pull up the-
is that the same building?
Sure.
Yeah, it is. You know it.
I like looking at the architect's website. Not just because that's just what I do, but, you see that? Yeah, so we have, these are the photos from the architect, so you can see that's a pretty big.
Yeah, that's a huge
Wow.
property.
Right, but you don't need to have that whole.
Yeah, no, this is like three of the buildings.
Yeah.
that we would do that. So I
I
think that's
wondered.
a couple of things to.
This is for one.
Yeah, no, just one of those little things that, so you see that it has.
And I liked all the art outside.
The art is nice, there's the interior, feel like just a little bit of a wood ceiling accent, but
Yeah, that picture I believe I am giving you.
nice big.
Because I like that area, because I thought of that window looking straight out to the
How
garden.
how many square feet do those four chairs occupy?
That area that you're looking at right now, if you do a rectangle, probably what, like 250 square feet for the whole thing, if you draw a rectangle on. the whole thing.
That window, and do that window.
That window, edge of the window is only.
20
like
feet?
100, Yeah, 20 feet.
20
Yeah.
feet long and
And then
then
20 feet out,
20 feet.
or
that
10 feet out.
Yeah.
3, 4, 2. Yeah, I don't know, it's hard to estimate. But it's a decent size, it's not super compact.
I know, that's why, it's very,
But I would like those chairs a little closer, if I was gonna have to hear you talk to me.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying, that's really loose in terms of
Oh, look at
space.
this nice
And their
big.
paint color, I mean, the wood ceiling is, it's pretty minimal in the way that it brings in materials, and, but it's pretty nice too. And that's a really
It's really worth the trip.
Um, yeah, that's a good one. Good local one.
Well, that's what I was looking for, because there was a couple of negative comments when we did our, homework a couple months ago. And there was a couple of comments that they were out of state. And so I tried to find one, that was good. And so I decided because that I needed to, even though I looked everywhere, I needed to find a local one. And I don't like the look of Camden, and I don't like the look of Rockport at all. Those do not show warmth to me. They're wonderful buildings, especially the Camden one.
Well, the Camden has the old portion of the
Yeah.
building with that, kind of brand.
And I like going in there in the big library in the front, but
Yeah.
there aren't warm and fuzzy buildings down.
No.
At all.
Yeah, so I think that, I mean, that's a good one to surface, and if anybody's going down to Portland.
I'd definitely go down that one. Okay,
So what now?
I mean, what was I gonna say? That was a fair amount of time. I think that it's now probably too late to begin an actual flow plan schedule, so I just.
Should we each try to submit to you?
you think it's too late to start? Is that what you think?
Yeah, I think we should push it, and we can push it to a meeting in 2 weeks' time, we can push it to the next month, but. we
Okay,
should,
so, because I'm going to be away for a month in April.
No, I don't know what your time is like. I'm willing to stay another half an hour, but.
I can't.
You can,
I
okay.
gotta get it.
Yeah.
So,
Do you want to meet on the 28th? That's in 3 weeks. We can get this room.
That would be fine, and that we could,
You're not gone.
no, I'm gonna be around, but do the selectmen have a meeting that night, or
I don't,
They might,
they might.
you should check on the
I
calendar?
could meet any night that week,
So
so that's not
March
a planning board.
28th?
We have a.
Are you in the Bahamas?
No, not
Okay.
until
Are you
April.
here?
I'm here. It's the last week.
I can do
Okay,
that.
the 27th, we have the nominating committee.
Nominating committee is gonna meet on the 27th. I have to reserve the room. So should I ask Terry about this room on the 28th?
Yes.
Sure,
And I'm just wondering if the three of us are willing, we're done by 5:30.
Oh, we could just
Just
continue on
continue that Monday,
on the
fine
27th.
with me,
but are you okay with that?
I'm fine.
I could
The only
meet
problem
at
is the fire. We have to find out.
Oh,
the
fire
thing.
department.
Yeah, we have a meeting every Monday at
At
6
Oh, okay.
o'clock.
Okay,
Maybe we could do Tuesday at 4:30 and do our nominating.
I work on Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Never
yeah,
mind.
well, either, like I said, any night that week is fine with me.
All right, I'll find out about those
Um,
dates.
And I think that makes sense if we're gonna lose a bunch of people for the first week of April anyway.
because I'm gone, yeah, 3 weeks in April.
That would be good.
Somebody else will have to
I'm
take
gonna be
minutes.
here the first week of April, but not the first week of May, so that's another thing.
You're gonna be gone the first week of May?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we can have that second meeting, the May meeting on another
Another
week.
week.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're hoping for March 28th for this committee, for the second meeting.
At
of
6
this-
PM, yeah.
Yeah.
6 PM, okay?
That's correct.
And nominating at 4:30 on March 27th. Okay. All right,
And then so in April,
that's so
Well,
interesting.
they can meet in April.
it's like,
And so I think that, just so we circle up. Next
no,
meeting,
yeah, I'll be here the first week of April, so I could make the 6th actually.
I could, but I'm not taking minutes because I leave the very next morning.
And I'm gonna be gone on the 6th, April 6th.
Oh, dear.
That's not.
so
really can't do-
that last week of March,
Yeah.
we gotta do it.
Yeah, yeah,
That we solved,
Yeah.
we know that.
yeah.
So, in terms of what we're gonna do at that meeting, we'll have the floor plan exercise. I think we had to go through these images, and it was very helpful, so I'm glad we took the time to do that.
It's disappointing that the other two members aren't here.
And I.
Yeah.
I
it would
texted
be
them, I
great
have
if they were. I would like to talk about energy efficiency.
So floor plan, exercise, energy efficiency.
So should we submit our view of what arrangement of room would be to you
I don't think so. I think we should do it as a group.
together? Okay.
And I think that, I mean, you can if you want. You already said.
Yeah.
You already
Don't
said-
help myself.
One already.
You both gave.
As usual, I see.
But, so if you have updated thoughts, like, yes, please send them.
Yes,
Any-
actually,
any
I do,
thoughts in
you know,
general?
from the discussions we have had, I've had some new. things.
Yeah, so that's sort, that's
Yeah.
great. But I think that what we generally like, I would say the exercise that we're gonna do would be starting from zero
Zero,
and building together.
yes.
But please just say, yeah, send
Yeah.
it if you can.
I mean, I'll keep it here and, you know.
Yeah, of course, exactly.
I'm not, yeah, I like doing it as a group. because I
Yeah.
think we
But I would say if you have any concrete thoughts on energy efficiency,
Oh, I have lots.
and there's lots,
we have a lot.
so send them to me.
The thing
So I
is,
would
how do
say-
you weigh the trade-off, you know, like, I've listened to actually a main public show recently where somebody from your company was on and, you know, and they were talking about the building cost is more expensive, like sometimes up to 40% more, but then the running cost of the building is nothing.
You recoup it.
Yes,
Yeah. I
so,
think that a public library is a building that you expect to last a really long time.
100
Yeah.
years or more.
And I think that because of that,
it's worth the investment.
you get a longer payback window on a public building like this, that's built well,
Yeah.
than you do on a house or something that's.
So you're talking triple pane and stuff like that.
I
That's what,
personally think that there's no, I mean, there's no reason to compromise on energy performance at this
Right.
point. I think that
Yeah.
it's,
And I think
Because
there
on
are
the same-
grants, I think there are grants that we can really go for.
well, yeah.
and I think it's a seller.
There's big savings when it comes to electricity and fuel for heating and cooling
And
the building.
truly, just in this particular situation, as a town that has, needs to raise money to build something, but then it's gonna have to pay out of the town budget to maintain the thing. Like, it's another good fit for something that's very efficient. Because
Yeah.
Right, I
we
agree.
it doesn't, we don't have a huge budget to pay
We do not.
random energy bills.
Yeah,
So I think that, to me, I think, go big, like, let's just like think
Go for
about doing something that's.
but then the question would be, you know, geothermal versus solar and all these things.
Well, you need both.
Yeah, I think that's just like, collect your
It
ideas.
would be
and send them.
geothermal versus heat pumps on the outside. of the building.
Yeah.
Because geothermal certainly is far more efficient. And then you just have your, forced air venting through the building versus doing the heat pumps and having the things on the.
There's, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of considerations. We'll talk about it. I think like, just like, come up with your, come up with just like what you think,
Hmm.
ideas, strategies, and we'll go through them together at the meeting. But
Okay,
send them my way.
Okay.
That'll be the homework.
alrighty,
All right.
I think that's.
so I make the motion to.
No,
adjourn.
no.
We have to discuss the
Ambassador groups.
Oh, yeah.
So we wanted to push things.
We want to go over that, because I have got the Bruce Head Community Hall anytime in May to have one of our little ambassador groups to open it up for the public to hear about what we're doing. And we were talking about the community library and community center.
To do an open ambassador group. I'm still interested in doing some house ambassador group cultivating by inviting people.
You know, I'm all for those, but it's like we need sufficient material to present.
Well, that, I think that's true. I think,
But, well, like when we were talking yesterday, if you don't have these now, we're just pushing it back, so we might as well go forward with
what we have.
have, and then tell people to come to, zoom in on our meetings or come to our meetings. And the other part is we need a bulletin board at the library community
library.
center and put our information up and have pictures of what we have. So we're talking to people in the center itself, and we need to do that right away.
That makes sense. So do we have an item on the next agenda to officially schedule the first ambassador got, we should just get that done, right?
What's that?
So do we want to have that on our agenda for next meeting? Ambassador groups, scheduling ambassador groups, who's gonna, are they gonna
Do
do
we want to do one
at the
at the
library? And then one in the Spruce Head and maybe one at the historical
Go
society.
society.
And I'm willing to open, my house for groups of up to 8, to have talks. So I find that what I'm finding is in talking to people that they don't have information. They don't know the history. They don't know issues. And just in the meeting we had, that it's not that they don't want to know, they just didn't know. And I think there's a lot of misinformation in the community, and I think also a lot, a townwide mailing as we get closer to
Yes.
the town meeting, and all those things gonna have to happen. Maybe with some fact sheets or.
Well, yeah, fact sheet and, but in the end, people will have to show up at town meeting.
Well, that's why I think cultivating people now is.
Yeah,
That's why we need to do
Yeah.
it sooner than later.
Yeah, so, I'm gonna start by inviting my neighbors.
There's nobody there.
Right,
So
we're gonna officially,
have it on your agenda for March 28th, and hopefully we can do it.
Yeah, so for the next meeting, can we accomplish the layout of the rooms and the,
yeah, and the discussion,
And-
starting the discussion. I think we're gonna start with the layout because we
Yeah.
missed that,
yeah,
and that we're gonna do it, so it'll be something.
Right?
okay.
Sounds good.
Very good,
Thanks,
everyone.
everybody.
May I move to adjourn the meeting?
So be it.
So, motion to adjourn, did you make one? Okay, so this meeting is adjourned. Yes, good.
7:29.
Very good.
Turn this off and I'm gonna tell you something.